Evening, how's it going? Chris Graham here for We Love Betting. I'm in Manchester this week for the Stag Do, and there's basically just been too much happening this weekend, this week, so just I didn't have time to write my usual 1,000 words on the Premier League this week, so simply doing a quick video here to explain my three best bets in the Premier League this weekend, and I will start with Sunderland against West Brom, and you'll probably not be surprised to hear I'm back in Sunderland here. A bit of a cop-out, to be honest, because I think for the first time this season I've looked at the price of Sunderland and thought, it's not particularly a value bet in my opinion, but I think they'll win tomorrow, so they're odds against, so I will put them up, even though I think the price is particularly amazing. It's an absolutely huge game for the club, there's no doubt in that whatsoever. They're playing against a side with virtually nothing to play for, West Brom in the middle of the table. Sunderland, for me, I'm still amazed they're really in this position, because since Allardyce took over in the autumn, they've performed pretty consistently. They're bad December. I think they lost every game in December, but since the new year, they've been fairly solid. Lost just one of the last 6 games, and more than capable of winning here, really. We've seen that. They beat Manchester United, drawn too many games, and I think that's the problem. That's why they're still in the soup. That's why they're still odds on to get relegated. And but I do think they'll win on Saturday at home to West Brom. I'd be looking at win to nil as well if you didn't fancy the price of them just to win outright, which, just looking here, putting up as 23 to 20 with Paddy Power. It's not an amazing price, but I think they will win. So it's odds again, so that's why I'm putting them up. West Brom, just nothing really to play for. Sunderland, though, for me, a better side in West Brom in 2016, and I think they'll win tomorrow. Odds against. Game 2 then, what have I gone for? Remind me, I tell you what I like, and it's Arsenal against Watford. Watford, of course, knocked out Arsenal in the FA Cup last month, bit of a shock there, but I think Arsenal will be too strong for them tomorrow. Watford have been pretty poor in the Premier League in 2016, just 2 wins in their 12 matches in 2016 in the Premier League. And now, of course, they're in the FA Cup semi-finals. Big deal for the club. And there's just a suspicion that they might take their eye off the ball a wee bit in the league. Nothing to play for, really. And just focus on that, on the cup they lost 2 weeks ago, of course. So, there's definitely a suspicion that could happen. Arsenal need to win this game. It's a huge game. It's a bit like the last game I just talked about, Sunderland West Brom. The home side very much need that win. The away side didn't really give a shit, to be honest, what happens. Arsenal, for me, again, they're not an amazing price at 4 to 11 for a side to beat them at the Emirates 4 weeks ago. But I would have to back it. I think they'll win pretty comfortably. Some interesting one from Mesut Ozil was saying that we've messed up here. We need to try and get back in the groove, get back in the title race. It's probably too late, but I think they'll win comfortably on Saturday. Just looking at the Asian handicap prices here, I could back Arsenal minus 1.8 to 15. It's too short, so I'll back them minus 1.5. At odds against 13 to 12 with BetVictor, so they need to win by 2 or more goals for my bet to pay out. I will back that Arsenal to beat a Watford side with nothing much to play for. Now, the third bet for me is my main bet of the weekend, and it's a simple point, right? And it's a simple, perhaps a naive point, you might think, but I fail to understand why bringing in a manager like Rafael Benitez will not have an impact at Newcastle. It simply must for me. He's, for me, one of the best managers of the century, you'd have to say. In the last 15 years, think about it, that's probably a reasonable argument for what he's done and what he's won at various clubs. And I just simply can't fathom the concept that bringing a guy in like that wouldn't have any effect on the side that he's managing. So I'm expecting Newcastle to probably stay up, even though because I just didn't simply believe he would gamble here. Taking this job. It's incredible he took this job from me. Unless he felt that I think we'll definitely stay up, and they're 13-5 to win away at Norwich on Saturday, and I'm going to back them. That's too big a price. I'll back them in the double chance. So essentially to avoid defeat, even though I think they might actually win, even though I appreciate they haven't won, they've lost every game they've played away from home this year. But you could back them to avoid defeat at 7-10. I like that. This Norwich, I really fear for Norwich. They've picked up a wee bit. They only beat West Brom though. They drew with a Man City side who've just been disgraceful for the last 3 quarters of the season. I just think, how intimidating it must be for Alex Neil, a young manager just a couple of years ago, managing the second tier in Scotland. Now he's up against Rafa Benitez and Sam Allardyce to try and keep his side in the Premier League. It's a huge task for the young man, and I think it may prove beyond him. I think Newcastle and Sunderland, in terms of the team sheets, have a better side, better players than Norwich, and that could prove telling come mid-May. I think Newcastle will get something for this game, definitely. Norwich, I think they've still lost 9 in the last 12 games, even though they've had this wee mini rise. But for me, it's got to be Newcastle here. The Benitez-inspired Newcastle, I'll back them. I will back them to win, personally, but if I'm a wheel of betting bet, I'll back them in a double chance at 7-10. So that is Arsenal -1 on the Asian handicap. Arsenal -1.5 against Watford. I've got, before that, I went for Sunderland to beat West Brom at odds against, and Newcastle double chance plus 0.5 against Norwich at 7-10. Have a great weekend, whatever you're up to. I'm away in Manchester, stag do. I'm out to get just have fun with my mates and hope that the city is as exciting as I hear it is. First time ever out in Manchester. Have a good one.